television. Today, I will start Lesson 1 in new book, Science and Technology. Lesson 1, Science and Natural World. What's meant by science? Science, a way of learning about natural world and also include knowledge gained by exploring the natural world. When we explore the natural world around us, okay, this is a way of learning about natural world known as science, okay? And scientists use many skills, okay, during studying the natural world, okay, from the skills used by scientists. Number 1, observing. Number 2, inferring. Number 3, predicting. Number 4, classifying. Number 5, evaluating. Number 6, making models to study the world. Okay, when the scientist made an experiment by make the procedure of the experiment, and after experiment, the scientist use his sense to observe the result of the experiment, and after observation the scientist built up his conclusion about the experiment. For example, when we use different types of acids in lab, like hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, okay, and by using litmus solution and putting litmus solution in different acid, okay, we observe that litmus solution change into red in case of acid. So the conclusion of this experiment, acids change litmus paper into red, okay. Predicting mean the expecting what will happen based on the past experience. Classifying, making a group or sort different things found in nature around us, found in natural world around us, into groups to facilitate their studies, like classification of elements found in earth crust into metals, non-metals, noble gases, and semi-metals. Okay, this is classification used to facilitate and ease the study of element and knowing the different properties between different elements. Evaluating, okay, and the last skill, making models to study the world, okay. Scientists use or build up some models to study the natural world around us, okay. Like what? Like making the models about the solar system to know how the solar system consists of, what the solar system consists of, how the planet around the sun can orbit around the sun, how the day and night, how the sequence of day and the night on Earth's surface happen, okay. The models help us to study the world, okay, making the models of Earth to know the layers that composed the Earth, okay, okay, facilitate the study of the Earth's layer, okay. And Jane Goodall, a scientist who studied wild chimpanzees in the thick forest in Africa for many years. Okay. In this lesson, we will talk about the skills used by the scientist, like number 1, observing. What's meant by observing? Observing means using one or more sense to gather information, like sight, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, okay. Or in some cases, scientists use tools to help them to know about the natural world or to observe the result of their experiments, okay, like microscope, telescope, and weather satellite. And by example for observation, we know that Jane Goodall, a scientist who studied wild chimpanzee in the thick forest in Africa for many years, and by observing, Jane Goodall learned what chimps eat, what sound chimps make when they feel threatened. Okay, so the observation helped Jane Goodall to know about gather information about the chimps. Okay, and the observation classified into quantitative observation or qualitative observation. What the difference between them? deals with numbers or deals with an amount, okay, known as quantitative observation, okay, but deals with description that can't be expressed by number, by using numbers, known as qualitative observation, okay. When I check my Gmail, I found 11 emails, okay, 11 emails, known as quantitative observation, okay. But qualitative observation, like use description, like the board in hang on the wall has a black color. Okay, this is known as qualitative observation. Okay. Also, another example. By studying the ratio of carbon dioxide in air, we found that the ratio of carbon dioxide 0.031. Recently, in last years, okay, the percentage of carbon dioxide changed from 0.031 into 0.038. This is known as quantitative observation because I deal with number and amount. Qualitative observation, carbon dioxide, has a great impact in climatic change. This is qualitative observation, okay? The second skill, inferring or conclusion. What's meant by inferring? Inferring a conclusion that you make based on facts, based on evidence, based on observation that you get during experiment. And this is combined with knowledge and back experience related to the facts or evidence, okay? Inferring, not guessing, but it based on reasoning from what you already know, okay? And it could also based on assumption you make about observation. Like, for example, Robert Hooke examined the cork plant under his microscope, okay? And Robert Hooke observed small empty rooms in cork, okay? Named them cells. The scientist came after Robert Hooke concluded that all living organisms made up of cells. So, prediction based on assumption you make about observation, based on facts, evidence, okay, based on the observation you obtained during the experiment, okay, and also based on experience related to the facts or evidence, based on knowledge you have, okay. The third skill, predicting, making a statement, okay, about what will happen in the future, and this is based on the past experience or past evidence, okay? So, like what? Jane Goodall, by observing, Jane Goodall learned that when the chimp was threatened, okay, or when the chimp feels threatened or angry, its hairs stood on end, followed by throwing rocks and shaking trees, okay? So the chimp do these actions when they feel by threatened, when they feel by scary, when they feel angry, okay? So when Jane saw a chimp with its hair on end, okay, she was able to predict that there was a danger around the chimp, okay? Look, prediction and inference are closely related to each other, okay? But inference attempted to explain what is happening, okay, or has happened. Prediction are statement about what will happen in the future based on the past experience, okay? So, like what? To know the difference between inference and predictions, look to this example. If you see a broken egg on the floor by a table, you might infer, you might conclude that the egg had rolled off the table. If, however, you see an egg rolling toward the edge of the table, you can predict that is about to create a mess, okay? So, inference attempts or trying to explain what is happening, okay, or what has happened. Prediction, claims about what will happen in the future, okay. Classifying. The fourth skill, classifying. Classifying is a grouping together of items that are alike in some way, okay. Example, what did chimps do all day? Jane's team followed the chimps through the forest, especially Jomyu, an adult male chimp. Jane could have grouped together all information about Jamyu's feeding habits or his resting behavior. So, Jane can classify the information about Jamyu into two classes, okay? Jamyu's feeding, okay, and Jamyu's resting behavior, okay? Evaluating. The fifth skill. Evaluating involves comparing observation and the data to reach a conclusion. Comparing many observations, comparing many data to reach a general conclusion, okay? Like what? Jane would have needed to compare all of Jamyu's behaviors with those of other chimps to reach a conclusion about chimps' habits, chimps' behavior during the day, okay? She would also need to have evaluated the resulting, okay, behavior data of Jomyu and other chimps, okay? So, making models. The last skill used by the scientists to explore natural world, making models, involves creating representation or complex object or processes, okay? Some models can be touched as a map, okay? Others are in the form of mathematical equation or computer programs. Models help people study things that can't be observed directly, okay? Like, for example, this is map, okay? Where do chimps go? Jan team followed a particular chimp for many days at a time to show their movements. They might have made a model like a map that showed Jomyu's movement and behavior during one day. Okay? Look to the map. We note that we use some key. Circle for resting, triangle for climbing, star for feeding. Lake, listen to me. This is a morning nest, and this is the direction covered or distance covered by Jomyu during the day, okay, until reach to evening nest. By using models, Jane and her team shared information that would otherwise to be difficult to explain. Okay, thank you, grade 7, for your listening, and goodbye.